It may be sheer lunacy for the next 10 minutes or so. Charlie Callas, good morning.
Hi. Hello. First of all, how's the weather?
Hey, the weather's not bad here in Illinois. We have some clouds, but we haven't had the snow and we haven't had the tornadoes that they've had down in Texas. It's just kind of, actually, it's been pretty good.
Well, I'm here in Fort Lee, New Jersey now. The weather was terrific, and now it's getting to be about 50, then 45. It'll go down, and that's it. And who cares? And everything is terrific.
What are you doing in New Jersey?
I don't know, just walking around saying hello to all the boys. You know what I mean? No, I've lived here for about 18 years, and before that, Miami, Florida is where I got my start as a comedian.
Do you work in Atlantic City very much?
Oh, yeah, Atlantic City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Recently, though, I've been busy, as you know, doing television.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
We were talking here, last time we had a chance to talk was when you were in Wisconsin at Lake Geneva at the Playboy Club.
Yeah.
And, boy, that's been probably 10 years ago or so.
Somewhere around there, yeah. That club is not there anymore, is it?
I don't think Playboy has any clubs anymore where they have talent that would come in and do what you guys did.
That's a shame.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember when people maybe would have seen you last. I know you were a regular on the... weren't you a regular on the Dean Martin show?
No, but I did a lot of appearances on it, and also, you see, the Dom DeLuise show that I'm on right now, the producer-director, Greg Garrison, is the one who did all the Dean Martin roasts.
Okay. Well, Dom DeLuise was on Dean Martin a lot, too.
Oh, yeah, they're very good friends.
When he was on. But we saw you in the movies like High Anxiety and Silent Movie, a couple of Mel Brooks. I bet when you and Mel Brooks get together, it is just utter chaos.
Well, I tell you see, what happens is that when you work with Mel Brooks on a film, it is a real nut house, because he has, when we finish a scene or whatever, or we're just talking it over, he's got tapes going of Sinatra singing or whatever, big, loudspeakers in the soundstage, and it's really a happy place to be. When we do the scenes, then everything is real down to letter, professional. You want to get the thing down. But as soon as we break or something, it's complete nuts. And he wants to carry that attitude into his film. He wants everybody to be up. This is not, Alfred Hitchcock drama, that type of thing. And that's his nature. And it's good being with him.
I was thinking, in one of those movies, was it High Anxiety? One of the films, you thought you were a dog, right? What happened is that Mel said, Charlie, I'm going to put you in a little pajama outfit and put you in a basket in this little room, and I want you to pretend that you're a dog. That's all he said. So I said, okay, clear the soundstage for about 10 minutes and let me be alone and figure this thing out. So what you saw was the one and only original take. There were no other takes except for the close-up shots. And no script.
That's no script, no nothing.
You just did it.
That's it. Well, he relies on me to do it. So what you saw is when Harvey Korman tried to grab me, I made like a dog when he goes to the fire hydrant. Or just things that a dog would do.
Yes. Well, there are very few people that I think can really do that. They used to say Stan Laurel was like that. You could put Stan Laurel in a room with a ladder and tell him to go. And he could do that. And what you had was very, very funny. It cracked me up. I was on the floor.
Stan Laurel, you're talking about a genius.
Well, you were a drummer at one time, weren't you?
I started out in the business as a drummer, yeah, and I put down my drumsticks in 1962, and I said to myself, I think I shall become a comedian. And I walked out on stage in Miami in a little club called the Desert Inn. I said, good evening, and they were screaming, get off! That was my manager. Could you imagine the nerve of this man? Jeez! But no, that's how I started, and I still play the drums. It's not. I would not consider it a hobby. This is something that I really love to do, and I'm fortunate enough in that when I'm in Los Angeles, I have a jazz group that I use. The guys from the Tonight Show, Ross Tompkins on piano, who you see when you see Doc Severinsen, you see the piano player. Well, that's Ross Tompkins. There's a couple of guys we go and we play for the weekends. And I was guest solos with the Canadian Symphony about 2.5 years ago.
I bet that's fun. I was thinking there must be something between, some kind of a similarity between a comedian and a musician in a way, because timing is so important in comedy. And certainly when you're a drummer, timing is important to you. I don't know if you think in a certain rhythm while you're doing shtick.
Well, you know what I think more or less it's a gift, and people keep saying to give it back. No, I can see what you mean. Yeah, of course. Yes, the timing with the drumming and the timing also on stage. But it really is, thousands of light years apart.
Yeah. I had a fun weekend. I visited with a fellow by the name of George Rock, who was one of the regulars, one of the big stars with Spike Jones years ago.
Yeah.
Guy not only could play the horn, just a fantastic trumpet player, but had this gift of visual presence on stage, and he could pull a comedy off so well.
Uh-huh.
And, there are a number of people like that. You think about Jack Benny, had his violin. You think about many comedians who...
The Sellers used to play drums, Sid Caesar saxophone, Woody Allen clarinet.
And still does, I guess, on Monday nights, doesn't he?
He goes on a place called Elaine's every Monday night and sits there in a corner and plays Dixieland.
Yeah. Let's talk about, before we're out of time, we ought to talk about the Dom DeLuise show, which is going to be on, I guess, is it a syndicated show?
Yeah. Syndicated show. I think where you are, it may... I'm just trying to think of... You're near Well, it may be Saturday at 5 p.m. on... do you have WAND?
Yeah, that's out of Decatur.
Channel 17. That's probably where it comes from.
Okay.
It's a great... All right, let me put a quick premise. Dom DeLuise runs a barber shop. He's a barber. There's a comedian called George Wallace. He's also a barber. There's Maureen Murphy. She plays the manicurist. There's Angela Ames. She plays an aerobics dancer. And I'm Charlie Ty, a private investigator who's a little paranoid. Instead of me following people, I think people are always following me. So I go out of disguises and things. It's a nutty place. It's a fun little show.
It's going to be a half-hour show?
Yeah.
Well,
it says on the titles when the show first starts, it says, Dom DeLuise show says, almost but not quite a situation comedy.
Yeah, okay. Should be fun anyway. The Dom DeLuise show, and we'll watch for that. We got to talking about comedy a little bit. The whole club business has changed over the years. You think it's easier for the young comics coming along today, or is it tougher?
You know, I try to analyze it myself. I think it's always been the same. As I said, you know, when I started out, there were the Playboy clubs, and I could do 3 shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 shows. You do 21 shows a week. You keep doing it until you do it right. Mm-hmm. And you would prepare yourself for television. That's all gone, but now they have the comedy clubs, where somebody told me that about 10, 15 years ago, there were 50 comedians listed somewhere around there on AFTRA, American Federation of Television Recording, whatever. Yeah. Now there are over 2,000.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
So anybody can go out and tell a joke, you know, but out of all the people, one will stand out. Like you can take 50, 60 guys and give them the same material to say, basically, and they'll get the laugh in the right place. Yeah. But what happens is somebody stands out more than the others because of their attitude.
Yeah, it's all how you look at it. Years ago, there were fewer comedians, so if somebody did notice you, they had, or noticed a comedian, it may be you. However, now there's more comedians, so to get noticed above and beyond other ones, you got to, I don't know. It's probably just as difficult as it was then.
It's very commendable for a guy to get up there alone with no orchestra, with a brick wall behind him, and looking at 200 faces and 400 eyes looking back at you. Yeah. You know, so it's quite a feat to get up there and do something like that.
I wonder how comedy has changed over the years. You know, we've the pendulum has swung over to where you can talk about anything, and you can, and maybe it's not always been that way, but you can talk about certain things and you can use certain language. It's always amazing to me. We can get to that point, and then somebody else can say, instead of an obscene word, they can say a golly and almost get as much reaction anymore.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
It's tough to analyze comedy, and I suppose the pendulum moves back and forth both ways when it comes to that, too.
What happens, I have seen so many articles through the years as a comedian about this and that, what makes you laugh, and trying to causality and cause and effect. Baloney. It's simple. If somebody says or does something and you laugh, it's funny.
Yeah.
Don't try to analyze. Fred Allen, years ago, said you can analyze comedy, you can dissect comedy like a frog, but in the process it will die. Even Nietzsche, I've got books of Freud, dealing with the unconscious and jokes, wrote a book about that. And he dissects and this, and they're all right in the way, but you can get overly complicated if somebody says, does something you laugh, it's funny.
Yep, I think you're right. And I have a hunch the Dom DeLuise show is going to be very funny. We'll watch for it on whatever station, WAND, you think?
Yeah, I think that's it, WAND.
Yeah. Okay. Charlie, good to visit with you again. I know you're doing a lot of these today, so we'll let you go so you can do your next one. And hopefully we'll get to talk again sometime.
Okay.